Hi everyone, welcome back to MovieJube. I'm Jade and I'm here with Jordan.
Hello.
And the two of us have just finished watching episode 5 of Halo, the series on Paramount Plus, and we're going to give you guys our fresh thoughts. So if you're excited, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And let's get into it.
Yeah, do you want me to go? Do you want to give your opinion first? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go for it.
I think it was my favorite episode for sure. I'm sure you'll feel that way as well. But yeah, a lot happened. It really progressed the story forward as well as some awesome action. And we get to see the Ungoi, the grunts, and the jackals, and we get to see a brute. Which I was so excited about. And we see the banshees in action. We see phantoms and a spirit. Like it was full on action, but in a really honestly high quality way. Like I feel like it was better choreographed and more fun and engaging than like the first big action scene from the first episode.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the exact same wavelength as you. I thought it was easily the best episode of the season. It obviously had spoilers, obviously.
Yes.
It's a review.
Every week, spoilers.
We're reviewing it, but it easily had the best action of the season so far, and the most action. I think it's the shortest episode, so it's kind of really compact. But even outside of the action,
it works for it, honestly.
Yeah, I it wouldn't hurt it to have or killer no filler more of this going forward. But like I think that even the character moments here are short, sharp, but strong. We get to see interactions that are pretty strong between like Miranda and Jacob Keyes and even Halsey, and I think that those work well. And then we see John's relationship with Halsey kind of come to a bit of a head, although intervened and interrupted by Cortana, which is interrupting this whole episode, which I love. She's a great
sassy
addition.
Queen, yeah,
but obviously that kind of emotional turmoil or character moments is interrupted by the Covenant in a really smart way. That it's also like they build a lot of plot points to this point, and I do think that not everything's worked and it's taken a bit of time, but they pay off quite a bit in this really long action sequence. Surprisingly, not just action for like the first episode had some fun action, but it was just definitely just to introduce Spartans. Yeah. Whereas here, there's like a core motivation, and I think that it shows you like John's mental state without the emotional inhibitor chip, and then also shows you on the flip side with Kai. And I think that's a really good idea to do now, and seeing how it affected her versus him going forward for the show and where it's going to take the Spartans as characters.
Yeah, that's made me so much more fascinated in Silver Team than I previously was.
And I also think that the way that it ends with the Brute collecting the artifact and the Blessed One landing and seemingly going to go undercover, I think it adds a lot of that tension and complication that was needed, not just on a character level. Like, there's much more forward plot momentum now where I'm like, oh, like, where is it going to go? And also just on the level of what you said, like, the action, I enjoyed it a lot better here. Not just for the fact that we've seen Ungoi and Jackals and Brutes and all these more classic Halo things. It felt way more honed in on, like, what they were trying to achieve with the action set piece here. Like, it wasn't... I feel like the first one was like, what are we trying to be? It was kind of like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This one felt way more like it was showing the strength of the Covenant while also showcasing Spartans and what they can do. And I just thought it was delivered. I still don't like the first person aspect when they do that. But other than that, I thought it was handled very well. Little nitpicks like, has a Jackal ever held a plasma sword?
Not that I'm aware of.
Maybe in the novels.
Maybe, but I typically see them with long-range guns or just the classic green plasma gun.
Or snipe, snipe. They use
long-range, like sniper.
It would have been cool to see some snipe ones, but I'd seen the Ungoi get in the car, and we didn't necessarily hear any Ungoi lines, which was a bit...
No, I'm very ready for that, though, when they do.
But I thought there was a lot of really cool stuff, though, and seeing Chief go at them with getting him get up and snap his neck sort of thing and do the shotgun. Cheesy in a way, but it was very cool.
Pop
It was
moment.
earned.
Yes,
And
like it definitely feels like the action in here. It, like you said, it's both impressive on the sheer power and numbers of the Covenant side, and also the prowess of the Spartans. Like when we see Chief hijack the Banshee, that was really exciting and cool. And
kind of hijack, half hijack.
Kind of hijack. He didn't get in the vehicle. I thought they were
Yeah.
just going to do the thing where like he's in it, but they didn't show you how he got in it. Only just when he shoots through
Yeah.
the top, which is an animation
Yeah.
that happens in the game, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But no, instead he just rides it from the bottom.
Yeah, one would argue that maybe getting in and utilizing it as it should be probably would be a more effective route. But hey, he's emotionally compromised.
Yeah, so he's just gone
So-
paraglide in with it.
But look, hey, it reminded me of Chief. That was very Chief to me. Of course, like you could be like, oh, he's not like emotional, but him getting just riding on a missile or doing these crazy stunts is kind of what he's all about.
You're
know?
absolutely right. Like to the originals, like that is what he does.
And I think this showcased even with the helmet on, what separates him from the other Spartans.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, what makes John different.
Especially, yeah, like his, he's not prepared to listen to directive over doing what he deems the right thing. And obviously he's prepared to do lots of violent, intense things, but he's not prepared to do wrong by those he feels he looks after.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay.
we've seen some good moments between Halsey, John, and then also I liked the moment, maybe a little bit quick and not too built up towards, but Halsey helping Miranda was definitely a moment that I think they needed to add in, and I think it reels back the cold nature of what you look at Halsey, so I think that's kind of needed.
Yeah.
And I like the complications they're bringing up with Jacob, but yeah, look, as I said, I think we're episode 5. If you're in on the show, you're in on the show. I think it has had some bumpy aspects, and I'm still not like, I don't think it is fantastic, but last episode and this episode, I think I'm in a place where I can say it's good.
Yeah.
And I think that
And
this episode
worthwhile.
was a good episode that did good by what it set up. It did what it not only did what it needed to do, but exceeded my expectations based on the expectations and what they've built on previously.
Absolutely.
And I never thought we would get to this point where I thought an episode was pretty well paced, and I have very little to fault it with. Like, obviously, there's nitpicks and stuff. Like, I still think the Soren and Quan storyline is not too engaging.
I'm still not personally. I don't really care about that sideline.
Yeah, and with at Madrigal, and even the start with John and the kids, I thought was pretty badly done.
Yeah, the kids
Like he
flashback
grabs that
thing.
kid, John's strongest kid in existence.
Yeah, and there was like this shot, like it's, it happens, but where he was originally holding him with one hand, and then it zooms out and he's holding him with two hands, and then it zooms back in and he's holding him with one hand. I was like,
Yeah.
I see you.
But
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if this is I don't know how they shot the show, whether they, usually it shows, it depends, streaming things are different, movies are different, and network television is different, so network television shoots episode by episode, right? I don't know how they shot this Halo thing, but it felt like, and maybe it's because I'm getting used to the show as I go along, it felt like they kind of figured out more what works when it comes to the action department and character moments. Like I felt, this was kind of like an all killer, very little filler, right?
Yes.
Or mostly killer, very little filler with an episode, and it just seems like this episode is finally the sweet spot where they figured out what worked for them, and just surprised me with the CG work on the brutes, the jackals, and Ungoys looked pretty good throughout.
And it was daytime, it wasn't nighttime or inside of a cave. It looked good.
Better than episode 1, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's because they got more used to the way of shooting it, like you said, but I also found the cutting to be less erratic. It was easier to follow the choreography, I guess, of the fighting, which is impressive because it was a big ass fight. Like it was a lot going down. Yeah,
I think it was, especially for a TV show. I thought it was really well done. And I said, sorry, it had a good emotional through line, and it placed the action beat in a good spot. That is both frustrating and exciting to see where we can go with that. So
yeah, and also, like you said, it was weaved well with caring about these characters that are actually progressing their storyline as well.
And I like that we see the devastation with the. I'm sorry, it's not the ship, the one that kind of looks like the Infinity. It was
Yeah,
getting
that was
destroyed in the background.
yeah,
I
I
like that
forget what they called
will
that.
will further the sort of UNSC's turmoil with the Covenant, and I think
Yes,
that is
the
going to become a big
implication.
because obviously Reach is still here. We haven't had the fall of Reach
So
and all
far,
these things.
yes.
But yeah, I thought a lot of good plot progression here, a lot of good character progression,
Yeah.
and honestly, I never thought the action would get this good. So I can't
Neither.
like I'm pretty
Yeah.
stoked about that.
I think I'm just
She
so
used the
high.
plasma, energy shield when he
Yes.
got hit by the Brute's hammer. Like that was cool,
Yeah,
man.
by the
Like
grav
it,
hammer.
very like Halo Infinite vibes, like the opening cutscene with Chief versus Atriox,
Yes, absolutely.
and even it reminded me of. Do you remember in Halo Infinite where you first fight? I'm forgetting his name, but there's the man that pops up and like jump scares you with the hammer, and you fight him, and you're in like this sort of like underground drill area, and it's before you meet
Yes.
yes,
Was it like Brom or something? Starts with a
yeah.
B.
Yeah, but that area reminded me a lot of this like dig site on
Yes.
Iridium. Is it Iridium
Yeah,
two?
Iridium, I think. Yeah, two.
Eridus? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, overall, strong Halo vibes, and just for the story that it's telling so far, I thought this was easily the strongest episode, and was good.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's not even just because of how close it feels to the Halo franchise. It's also just because of these actual characters and their plot. It really feels like it's coming full circle and it's actually leading somewhere, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, we look at like Miranda and the relationship forwarding, John and Halsey coming to a point where it is kind of exploding, but then interrupted with an action beat, and then we see the Blessed One, which her character is now going to be
Within the
undercover with
humans,
the
yeah.
humans. Like, so it's like it worked out very well for all characters to be in an interesting position for the next episode.
Exactly. And also, just a super side note, there was definitely a part where I think they were working on getting the artifact out of like the stone it was in, and it kind of reminded us of Halo Wars 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And that kind of like waiting till that part's done and you have to like hold off the mission till it's done.
Like
That
building
was-
a resource that had like a timer above it.
Exactly. That was that the Halo Wars kind of vibe.
No, definitely. There was something else that was that kind of perked my ears and eyes up, and I'm just forgetting now, that made me laugh, and it was very Halo, but I can't remember now. But there was one nitpick I did have to make. I disliked the dialogue heavily when she's like, your secondary, it's hard to remember. Cortana says, you're out
Use
of
your
ammo.
secondary weapon.
And he's like, I know how to play the game. I was like,
Yeah.
do without that part. Like,
Yeah. Literally, like it's too on the nose.
get it,
at
we
that
get
point.
it.
Yeah, we do get it. Like,
we know, like you keep putting it in first person every chance
exactly.
you get. Like we
for
get
what
it.
other reason are you doing that? Yeah, and with the like, what's it called? Reticle.
Reticle. The reticle.
Reticle. With that there as well, when it's in first person, like we do get it.
Yeah, I still don't like the first person. It looked a little better though, but I still don't like it.
Yeah.
But the action otherwise was good.
Yeah, and I thought they looked good. Like there was not as many silly like jumping moments or slow mo. There was one when he was hopping towards the artifact to touch it, and he like did a little floaty jump. But otherwise, it was good.
He's really good either running or walking, not in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall I really liked it. Best episode yet.
Me too. I'm on such a high from that, and I really hope you all enjoyed. So please let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We'll be doing this each week for every episode, so stay tuned, and we will see you in the next one. Say bye, Jordan.
Bye.